Hi and welcome everyone to the 16th episode of The Little Insight. As you might have guessed, my name is still Tobi, and this week we are going to have a look at all there is. Let's get started right after the intro. So there are a few explanations of all there is. Everything, if you will. So what is everything? Is it all the kind of atoms and trees out there and the streets and the people and the different races and the different countries? And do we have to enlist all these kind of different things, or is it more simple? Of course, it is more simple. So what is all there is? So one way of enlisting all there is could be enlisting the six senses. So all there is, right now in this moment, there is sound. Is it true? There is sight, vision. There is smell, there is taste. And there is physical sensations, tactile sensations all over the body. And also, there is mental movements, thoughts, opinions, views, anger, greed, happiness, joy, all these kind of things, all the mental world. So that might be one way of enlisting all there is. It's pretty simple. You can say all there really is the activity of the six senses. And it's kind of undeniable. If you sit here right now, this is something that is directly knowable. This is not something that is abstract. It is something that we all directly can experience right here, right now, having six or less senses that are functioning. Now, another way of enlisting would be the so-called five aggregates. Well, five aggregates are the body, so all there is. There is the body, number one. Number two, there is the aggregate of feelings. So this is kind of the taste of your experiences. The third aggregate would be aggregate of perception. That means all the viewpoints, opinions, the labeling, often also called the aggregate of memory. The fourth one is the aggregate of, and that's a bad boy really, the aggregate of fabrication. All that stuff that goes on day in, day out in your mind. All these thoughts, these random proliferations of the mind, the storytelling, the way you see other people and so forth, all the, you can say, all the dreaming that's going on in your mind. And fifth, last but not least, is the aggregate of consciousness. This is what enables us to pick up the information that comes from the six senses. So you have, for every sense, you have like a correlating consciousness. But I'm noticing right now I'm getting too complex here, and this is not my intention. I don't want to make it a kind of a scholastic work or anything. I'm not even able to. So leave that to the scholars. I think what is more important is to see that you can enlist things that are all there is, and to make these kind of simple lists will be good. So make it as simple as possible. All there is, the body and the mind, you can say, or matter and consciousness. So when we have such a simple list, when we bring it all together, that there is matter and that there is consciousness, makes things a bit more simple. Now an interesting question would be, can you know all there is? Now I would say so, yes, you can. You can know the activity of the six senses, for example. You can know that there is a body, and you can know that there is a mind. Have you ever wondered, who is this body appearing to? Or what is this body appearing to? Or what is the aware of a body? What is it that is aware of sense activity, of the sounds? What is it that is conscious of all that? So most of the time, admittedly, I think we are kind of lost in what appears to us. Like when you're watching a movie, you're generally forgetting the one who watches, because you're kind of absorbed in the story. So similarly, you have this world, this universe, which is sort of like a super interactive three-dimensional super movie. It keeps you totally excited and entertained, and all these stories that are going on, the future, the past, the thinking, the feelings in the body, and all that. This is kind of super interactive, almost like you can say it's very, very similar, if not almost the same, as a dream. In a dream, you also walk around, you have a landscape, and you see things, you hear things, you smell and taste things, you're feeling things, you're thinking about things, you have someone interacting, you have something that is interacted with. So also that all exists in a dream, just like it exists in your waking life. This is some food for contemplation right there. You can have a look at your current experience, noticing that there is this play of the six senses. The mind moves, it interprets, it does what it is used to do, it thinks, it creates stories, it agrees, it disagrees, and so forth. That's what the mind does. And then there is the body. And the body does its things. It moves, it makes gestures. I'm making these kind of funny gestures. I don't know why, but it just happens. Now I'm observing that I'm trying to stop the gestures, so it's quite funny. The mind kind of interprets my gestures, and then it has this opinion arising. It says, oh, stop making too many gestures. You're making too many gestures. So that's the activity of the mind, and then the body kind of follows through with it, and then we're interacting with this kind of world of senses right now, which is incredibly fascinating and intriguing. Now, being caught up in this world of senses continuously without knowing it, without having any mindfulness, any awareness, then we are like someone that is fast asleep, that is dreaming, and has no clue that he or she is dreaming right now. Like when I'm dreaming, I'm riding a pink elephant, then I feel like, there's nothing wrong with it. I might even think in the dream, oh, that might be a dream, but I'm actually not really knowing that it's just a dream. I'm not becoming fully lucid, if you will. So similarly, in waking life, we might feel like we're quite aware and we're knowing what's going on, and yes, I'm Tobi, and I'm here in Phuket, in Thailand, and I'm having this meditation center, and I'm doing my stuff, and it seems all like I'm quite aware and I'm doing my thing, but really I'm not aware. What it means to become fully aware, first of all, you have to become present. You have to come into this very moment, right now, right here, and then really cultivate a sense of knowing this moment as it is. Tasting it, if you will. So you're tasting the activity of the six senses. Then eventually, you just observe this. You're not tasting it anymore consciously, but you start to just observe that. Your mindfulness deepens. You're not tasting the body anymore, but you're noticing that there is this kind of bodiness going on right now, and the bodiness does what the bodiness does. I'm calling it bodiness because it's a bit less like a thing. Something that is more going on right now, isn't there? Like a movement, a process, something that flows. So knowing your six senses like this, they reveal their true nature. They show to you directly that there is really nothing that lasts. Moment by moment, by moment, by moment, your experience actually changes, like the images of a movie, like the various images in a dream or in a cartoon. Our life is in a continuous state of flux. The future is totally uncertain. The past is but a thought. And right now there is this kind of flow of the six senses that you can observe, that you can actually study, become aware of, have a look at. And that's really good practice. This is how you kind of learn from your own experience, how you empower yourself with wisdom. You're first of all strengthening your mindfulness, coming into the body, staying in the body, relaxing into the body, releasing tension, and noticing more and more. There's so much going on every moment. And I'm really inviting you to participate in this right now. Feel opinions, views, ideas, thoughts, distraction. All this stuff is continuously going on. You notice. Can you feel the body? Can you smell the smells around you? There's so much information, second by second, every breath. And if you start to really see that with a sustained, calm mindfulness, it is quite transforming. In what way, you might ask? Well, I think it is quite transforming in the sense that it frees you from unnecessary stress. You notice that everything is kind of doing its thing. So you're not feeling so much anymore as a person that kind of I need to live my life. Life is some sort of thing that I need to do. It doesn't feel like that anymore. It feels more like life is that process right now, in this moment, that you can get in touch with, that you can notice, that you can be aware of. That is nothing really concrete. It's not a thing. It's more like a wind. It's continuously moving, continuously changing. And so you relax more. You become more settled in yourself. You say, oh, okay, there's thinking, there's feeling, and it's just that. It's fine. It's okay. You're not restrictive anymore. You're opening up really to your experiences. Like the sky, it gives space for wind, it gives space for clouds, it gives space to the birds. You become able to give space to all there is. Gradually. It's an opening up process, you can say. In the beginning, we are this kind of little contraction of we call self. And there's this little self, and everything else appears around that little self. Sort of almost like a threat. There are those things that the self is looking for. I need this and I need that. And then there are those things that the self is fighting against, the bad stuff. And so it seems so separate. It seems almost like the self is the one doing life, which is really funny if you contemplate it. As if there was something that is that bold that it could do life. We're not even able to run our liver. If someone would say, well, run your brain, please. Do the nervous sequences. Can you pump your heart simultaneously, please, while running your brain? You pump your heart, and you should regenerate your cells when you're in deep sleep. Please do that all consciously. You couldn't. Because, matter of fact, we're not doing any of it. If you tell someone, stop thinking right now, also, same thing. You can't just stop thinking. It takes time to calm down, to settle down. And if you put in the causes, you can say, if you put in the causes of right practice, then eventually you become more settled, you become more calm. If your practice kind of bites, you can say, then everything slowly falls into place. There's a sense of confidence of knowing, yes, it works like this. And it all comes from simply being able to observe in this moment what is really going on. And as I said before, then you become the space in which the world is allowed to be, in which yourself and other beings are allowed to be. It is a great freedom. So we are coming into that space. Everything is allowed. Everything is known precisely as it is in this very moment. So this is kind of what we're aiming for, what we're cultivating. In the beginning, you just look at your body. You ground and stabilize your mindfulness with formal meditation practice a lot. Later on, you're expanding the knowing quality, allowing everything to be there just as it is, seeing it as it is, seeing that it arises and that it passes, and that there in general is not really any thing. but everything flows. As a Greek philosopher said, please forgive me, I don't really know, I might write it down here somewhere in the comment section, I'll find it out later. That Greek philosopher said this statement, pantare, which means translated like everything is flux. So all there is, the six senses, what do? They just flow. What's your job? Just let them do their thing. Now that would be achieved in meditation. You relax, you understand, you see, you let go. You see the things the way they are. So there's no reason to get upset or tight or tense, to dream up problems. You're able to host yourself, to host the world, to host the six senses. And that is what leads to understanding, wisdom, and peace. Now this completes the 16th episode of The Little Insight. Again, just another little reflection or contemplation. If you have some inputs or questions, feel free to just write them down in the comment section below or write me an email. And as I always say, that we are on every Wednesday, and I'm really looking forward to see you guys next Wednesday. I hope you're tuning in, and I wish you a great, fantastic week full of meditation and peace. Bye-bye.